guys, it's me, Kits, and let me tell you, this is gonna be a long one, so buckle in. I am struggling. Please send help. This artwork took me so long to do. Took me so long to edit. I still don't like it, but got shit done. And that's what's important. And that's all you can really do when you're in art block. Because no matter what people like to say, art block is real. It exists. It sucks. It hurts you emotionally, mentally, physically, to be honest. I have not been able to draw for days. And I know people will say, oh, well, you made artwork, so clearly you're able to draw. Yeah, but my hand isn't doing the things that my brain is telling my hand to do. And that's an issue, because that's how you do the arts, and I can't do the arts. And that's a bigger issue, because that's kind of my whole thing, and I need to do it now more than ever. I'm a rising senior, and it's August 3rd when I'm recording this, and I have to do my projects for art school, applications for, I won't say where, but very hard to get into, too goddamn hard to get into schools that I'm trying for, and of course I want to go, but you have to make good art to send them the things, and I can't make good art. This is the worst time to be in an art block. Please send help. But in the end, I got things done, and that's all that matters. I got my OCs conceptualized. I don't like the way this turned out. This isn't an accurate reference for most of them. Kagan, I've been drawing him for years and years, so he's accurate because my muscle memory is to draw him. So no matter how badly I draw it, he's recognizable. He's very iconic right now. But air, I'll explain what these mean in a second, but the rest of them, I like the way fire turned out. I can deal with the way water turned out. Air and void, I hate the way they turned out. I don't think it looks anything like I want them to look. It's cute as a drawing, I'll admit that. It's not the worst thing I've ever put on paper. Or I guess on digital canvas, but it's just not what they look like to me in my head. And that's really frustrating. But let me explain what the OCs are doing for a second before I go into my self-pity spiel. Not that I haven't already done that. But this is Kagan on screen right now. He's the earth element out of the 5. So originally there was a golden trio that I wanted. I'm stealing that term from Harry Potter for a second. For my main cast, for my main story, my primary group of OCs that I'm going to put the most time into, I had 3 planned. It was Kagan Nereus, who might be called Neray now, and whatever the air one is going to be. She was actually going to be the fire one, so the name I had for her was Sulfur, but spelled weird, because, you know, fire and sulfur, but now she's shifted to being the air element, so I had to find a new name for her. It didn't really fit in the first place anyway, but I expanded it so that there's a group of 5, because I think that they can play better off of each other. And then it occurred to me, oh, there's supposed to be 5 elements, right? I know there's technically 4, but there's that one spiritual element that kind of gets overlooked because honestly it's not that important, but it's there. And I decided I would make them based off of the elements. It was kind of already where it was going from the beginning, because I've had them based off animals. So it worked out pretty well in my head, clearly not on paper. And this is me just looking up reference. My friend asked me what the longest river was, and I guess I spent a good hour on this page, because this is sped up at least 6 times. Just for an indication of how slow I worked on this. But again, sped up like 6 times. Look how long I paused. And I've cut out a lot of just blank staring at this canvas. Anyway, no pity party. So Earth is Kagan. He's a royalty type. He's a prince with daddy issues who either runs away or is exiled from home. I haven't decided yet. But he's not there anymore, so daddy issues times 5. Water is Nereid, or Nereus. I named him after one of the sea gods. If I'm not mistaken, which I very well could be, it's the god of knowledge and wisdom who lives in the sea. He might not be a real god. He's a very minor god. He's not part of the Big 12 or anything, but he's kind of a mermaid, I guess. He's a mermaid, isn't he? I made a mermaid. His lower half can turn into a huge eel tail, just because I thought it was really cool. And he's based off of the ocean. I have to change his clothes to reflect the colors of the ocean, because that's what I wanted for him originally. But I gave them modern AU clothes. This isn't the clothes they would be wearing in their actual universe. It's the clothes that I could come up with without tearing my hair out while I'm in this disgusting art slump. But his origin is the ocean. He's based off of a water serpent or an eel. He's the tallest, because he's just huge. And he was a childhood friend of Kagan, really the only friend he ever had. And then when Kagan is away from home, he finds him again for help. And they go out, and it's very gay. And then Air is their small friend. They find her on their travels. She's just, sorry, I sound ridiculous. Let me grab some water. So she's a princess of some kind. She's another royal. They meet her on their travels. And she's either a lost or a stolen or a runaway princess, something of that sort. I'm not entirely sure yet. I haven't decided, but she's a parallel to Kagan. Fire, I'm not entirely sure where he comes from yet. I want him to be more of a humble beginnings kind of guy, a rough start. He's a bit more from the streets of wherever they're going to be. He's a really loving guy. He's got a really strong family values. He is a sweet guy who loves kids, but he's confrontational. He needs to be the alpha, and he's definitely not the alpha, and he can't deal with that. And he's mischievous, to put it lightly. He likes causing trouble. And then Void. So Void is the third element according to Google. And I've decided to make it night so that I can make it a nocturnal animal, because they're still kind of based off animals at this point. I don't know if that'll change eventually, but they're based off of animals right now. So I figured I could use Void as night and have a nocturnal animal for a separate section. And I know that I want her to be very competent. I want her to have a lot of experience, to not have trouble speaking on my own, to be brave. A little bit on the colder side in terms of warmth and emotion and all of that. So she's also a little bit of a parallel to Kagan. but on a different spectrum. I don't want her to be royalty or anything of the sort. Basically, I want her to be a badass. I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do with her yet, but I know that she exists, and I know that I love her, even though I drew her so terribly in this. I'm so sorry. I'm a terrible mother to my OC, and child services needs to take them away. But no, that's where they are right now. There's some really badly written statistics or whatever next to them in my really awful handwriting. I'm just coloring in the clothes and everything right now. There's a lot of skips because there's moments where I couldn't even record because recording was just adding another layer to the I cannot draw to save my life feeling that I was having, so they don't have that right now. But yeah, I ended up being decently happy with how the colors turned out. It's not the exact color scheme I want. It's not super pretty, but I think they're color schemes, color palettes that can work. I think there's a base there for something nice if I can ever get out of this art block that I've referenced about 20 times in this video. I'm having a pity party. That's what this is. It's you've been invited to my pity party. So I can complain about not... This took me 5 days to draw, and I don't like it. And it shouldn't have taken me 5 days. A few hours, because there's a lot of characters. But 5 days, no. And this is like 5 days of, like, mostly working. Like, it's not like, oh, I worked on it for 10 minutes one day, and 72 minutes the other day, and 2 minutes. No, like, this is like, I've spent so long starting and restarting and tracing those awful stock images from Google where the friends look like robots. Like, attractive, but in like a weirdly bland, conventional way that's kind of scary. You know what I mean? Those stock photos. I was tracing those for a bit. Didn't even work. I had to delete all of those files. The titles get more and more aggressive as we go on. I can't see what did I name this one? What did I name this one? Oh, something babes for real. Whoops. I think that's a good thing to end on. This is the final image. I don't hate it in the end. I think it came out okay for having art block and being confused about who they are. So you can click on the boxes on the left to see more videos from me. You can click on my face in the little bubble, not the drawn face, but the one in the little circle, to subscribe. And I will catch you next time when I'm less of a whining brat. Love you. Bye.